In this Elementor crash course, you will learn how to make a landing page for a blog website, and this is what we'll achieve by the end of this course. Hello guys, this is Swadik here at Dikupages Web, where I do web tutorials just like this one. So if you are new here, consider subscribing. That said, let's jump into the video. To make this Elementor crash course easy and simple to follow, I've organized everything into lessons, and we will start by creating a page for our landing page. To follow along, you should have a reasonable number of blog posts on your website. In my case, I have 9 blog posts on my website. So if you are ready, let's get started. Hello guys, in this lesson, I'm going to show you how to create a home page for our website. Now, if I go to the front end of my website, at the moment, this is how my home page looks like. If I refresh it, it will display all the blog posts we have created on our website so far. However, this is not how I want my home page to look like. I want a home page which I can edit and also customize it the way I want. At the moment, we cannot edit this home page. If you look at the administrative bar on top here, there's no feature that we can use in order to edit this page. So let's go ahead and create a page that we can set as our default home page and also customize it the way we want. To do that, I go to the back end of my website, then I go over to Pages, click on Add New. Before I move forward, first of all, I want to enable the left side menu right here. To do that, I go over to Options, then I click on Full Screen Mode so that I will be able to see the side menu. Awesome. Next, I give my page a title, so I call it Home. Then I go ahead and publish it. Publish again. The page is published. Next, I go to the front end of my website, then I refresh. I still see this page. However, I have Home here on the menu of my website. Now, if I click on it, it will take me to this page. This means that this particular page, which is Home, is not my default home page yet. If you look at the URL of my website, you see that I have prohomefinance.com/home. Saying this /home means that this particular page is not our home page yet. So how can we make it our home page and also edit it? To make this page as my default home page, I go to the back end of my website, and I go over to Settings, click on Reading. Under your home page displays, you see that your latest post is selected. That is the reason why we see all the blog posts we have created on the home page of our website. Now we want to change it from your latest post to a static page. So I select this, and you see that home page is now active for me to choose whatever page I want. So I drop down the arrow here, and I choose Home. And I go ahead and click on Save Changes. Now if I go to the front end of my website, take notice of the URL, you see that it's still .com/home. So if I go ahead and refresh this page, the /home will go off, and now this page is my default home page. We will not see the blog post anymore on the default home page. Also, on the administrative bar on top here, you see that we now have Edit Page. This means that we can actually go ahead and edit this page and customize it the way we want. So that's it on how to create a default home page for our website. See you in the next class. Hello guys, and welcome to our next lesson. In this lesson, I'm going to walk you through how Elementor works. So now this is our home page, which is blank at the moment, and we are going to use Elementor to design the home page. Even though we've already seen how to use Elementor to create our blog post, but this time around we'll be using Elementor to design our pages. So it will be important to see how Elementor really works when it comes to creating and designing pages. So to get started, I click on Edit Page, and from here I click on Edit with Elementor. And now we are in the Elementor editor. At the left side pane, we have various widgets we can use in order to design our pages. And to use any of these widgets, all what you need to do is just click on it and drag it onto your page. I'll show you how in a moment. The next feature I want to show you is settings. Now, if you look at our page, you see that we have the title home, which we don't want to see. So to get rid of this, I go over to settings. Under hide title, I toggle on this. Next, I go over to page layouts. I drop down the arrow and I choose Elementor full width. And the page will reload. And now the title home is gone. And we are now having a full width page for our home page. Next is navigator. If I click on it, you see the navigator right here. Now, before we use any of these widgets, we need to add them into sections. And whatever section we'll be creating in here will all display on the navigator, so that you'll be able to use the navigator in order to move to whichever section you want on your page. Next is history. This will display all the actions you'll be performing on your page. And it will also give you the opportunity to reverse some of the actions you've performed on your page. Next is responsive mode. With this feature, you'll be able to make your website tablet and mobile responsive. We'll see how to make our website mobile responsive in this course. Next, we have preview. So if you make changes on your website, you can use this icon in order to preview the changes you've made. And finally, we have update. This will save the work we've done on our page so far. Finally, inside the page, we have these three icons. We are getting this first one as a result of installing the premium add-ons for Elementor plugin. That is when we were installing plugins. So with this particular icon, you can add some templates onto your page that can be found in the premium add-ons for Elementor plugin. Next is this plus icon, that is add new section. This one is a default Elementor icon, which we can use to add sections onto our page. And final is add template. With this, you can also go ahead and add some templates from the Elementor library. So now let's see how Elementor really works. First of all, before you start using the widgets, you need to go to the 9 dots icon right here. Then it will display all the widgets. You also have the feature to search for whatever widget you want to use. So before we use any of these widgets, first of all, we have to add in a section. So I click on add new section, and I'll be presented with these structures. We have single column structure, double column, 3 columns, 4 columns, and what have you. So using any of these columns will depend upon the style of section you want. Let's assume I want double column structure. You see that as soon as I inserted a new section, we have section right here on the navigator. And if I drop the arrow right here, you see that I have 2 columns. And that is what we are seeing here. 1 column right here and another column right here. So the navigator will really help you to see all the arrangement you have on your page. For now, let me exit out of it. One thing you should also take notice is that the moment you insert a section, you see that the widgets will go off and we now have edit section. Under that, we have layout, style, and advanced. These are the 3 features we can use in order to customize our section. So take note, a section is the blue line we are seeing right here, and inside a section we have columns. In a column is the gray lines we are seeing in here, that is the dotted lines. And that is where we can add in our widgets. So to add a widget, you can easily click on the plus icon right here to take you to the widgets pane, or you can go ahead and click on the 9 dots icon right here. We've already seen this feature, so let's use the plus now to take us to the widgets pane. I want to add in an image, so what I do is I just click on the image widget and I drag it in here. And for you to make sure that you are actually placing it at the right location, you need to see this blue bar right here. So if I take it to this side, you see that I now have the blue bar over there. So I bring it here, then I drop, and you see an image placeholder. This indicates that you can actually go ahead and add in an image here. Now, after adding in your widget, if we go to the left side pane, instead of edit section, which we were seeing earlier, we now have edit image. And under that, we have content, style, and advanced. So this tells us that every single feature we add on our page, we will be presented with this pane that we can use in order to customize that particular feature. So to have a real image here, all what I need to do is click on choose image, and it will take me to my media library. I can pick any image, then I click on Insert Media. From here, I can change the size of the image to whatever size I want. I can align it, even though it has fit very well into the column. I can add in a caption. I can even go ahead and link it up to a particular page or a media file. Let's go ahead and add in more widgets. So I go to the 9 dots icon right here, and I'm going to go ahead and grab the heading widget and I'll drop it in the second column. In here, I can enter the text I want. This is my first heading. I can change the HTML tag from H2 to H5 depending upon the requirement of my page. I can go ahead and align it to the center, right, or even make it justify. I'll leave it as the default. I can go over to style, and this is where I can change the color of my text, for instance to red, like this. I can even change the typography. I drop down the arrow and the font family and I search for the particular font I want. I'll search for Times New Roman. I have it right here. I just click on it. Perfect. I can increase the size from here or reduce it from there. If you know the exact size you want to use, you can come in here and go ahead and type it in. Perfect. I exit from here. You can add in more settings as you wish. Next, let's go ahead and see another widget. And this time around, I will grab the text editor like this, which we've already seen when we're adding our blog posts. So from here, you can go ahead and enter in whatever text you want. You can change the alignment from here. You can change the color, typography, as well as text shadow. And finally, I'll go ahead and grab the button widget like this. From here, I can change the text that we see on the button. Maybe I'll say learn more, and I can link it to a page that I have on my website. I can change the alignment. At the moment it is left. I can make it center, right, or justify. And justify will make it stretch across the whole column. I take it to left, and the size is small at the moment. You can make it extra small. You can make it medium, large, or extra large. I can change the background color and the style. Background type is set to classic. You can even use gradients. And the color, I choose whatever color I want, like this. I can change the hover color by going to hover right here, and the background type, I go to color and I choose whatever color I want. Maybe green, but this time around it will be lighter. Awesome. So basically that's how we work with widgets. Now let's see how we can customize the section itself. To do that, I click on the 6 dots icon right here. If you point on it, you see edit section. So if I click, you now see edit section here, and I want to apply a background color to it. To do that, I go over to style, and the background, I go to background type and I choose classic, and this way I can choose my color from. Perfect. You even have the opportunity to add in some space across your section. To do that, I go to advanced. Maybe I want to add space on top and at bottom. To do that, I go over to padding, then I unlink the values here. If I enter maybe 50, the spacing will be provided across all sides. But if I don't want that, first of all, I take off the 50, then I go ahead and unlink the values here. So whatever figure I will be entering in any of these sides will affect the particular side and not all sides. So I go to top, then I make it 50, then bottom, I make it 50, and this is cool. So if you are happy with all what you have done on your page, then you click on update. So now we've added this section, and we are going to assume that we don't need it anymore. All what we need to do is go ahead and take it off by clicking on delete section right here. So I click on it and it will go off. So that is the basics of how Elementor works. Thank you for watching and see you in the next class. Hello guys, and welcome to our next lesson. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to create a hero section for our home page. A hero section is basically the banner you usually see when you visit a particular page on a website, and it is always the first banner you'll see. So to create our hero section, all what we need to do is go ahead and add in a new section, which we've already seen how to do in our previous lesson. So to add a new section, I go over to the icon right here, click on it, and I'm going to go ahead and use a single column section. So I choose this, and my section will be added. The next thing I'm going to do is increase the height of my section. To do that, I go over to height right here. Take note, we are seeing all these features because we are under edit section pane. So I drop down the arrow under height and I choose minimum height. From here, you can go ahead and enter in the minimum height you want, which is currently set to pixels, and that is what I'm going to use. The default minimum height is 400, and you can choose whatever height you want. Maybe if I want it to be 600, I just go ahead and enter in 600 right here, and this is how high it will be. For now, 400 will do. Next, I go over to style, and I'm going to go ahead and add in a background image. So under background type, I choose classic. So this time around, instead of using color, I go to choose an image, and from here I can choose the image I want to use. I don't have it here, so what I do is I go over to upload files, select files. I have my image right here. I select it, then I click on open. It is uploaded. I click on insert media, and my image will be inserted. I can also perform more settings under position, attachment, repeat, and size. First of all, position, I want to make it center right. Attachment, you can make it scroll or fixed so that when you are scrolling, the image will be static. But I don't want it that way, so I take it back to default. Repeat, you see that the image is repeated, so I drop down the arrow and I choose no repeat. Take note, using any of these settings will depend upon how your image is like. There may be instances you want to use cover so that the image will cover the whole section. But in my case, the default will do. Perfect. Next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and add in a heading. To do that, I go to the 9 dot icon right here. That is widgets. Then I grab the heading widgets in here. I can enter my text from here or from here. Either way, it will give you the same results. So I go ahead and enter in my text. Boom. Next, I align it to the center. Then I go over to style. I'll change the text color to white. I exit from the color by clicking back on color. Next, I go over to typography, and I'm going to go ahead and increase the size to 70. If you want to change the font, this is where you can do that. You just drop down the arrow and you search for the particular font you want. For instance, if I want to use Montserrat, I search for it and I choose it from here. But I'll leave the default font for now. I exit from here. Next thing I'm going to do is go back to widgets, and I drag in the text editor right here under the heading widget. And in here, I enter my text. So I'll do this pretty quick. Next, I go over to style. The text color, I change it to white. And then the typography, I increase the size to 25. And I'm going to go ahead and align it to the center. Next, I go over to widgets, and I'm going to go ahead and add in a button widget. So I drag it and drop it under the text widget. The text, I change it to learn more, and I'll be linking it to the blog page of my website, which I've not created yet. So later when the blog page is created, I'll come back in here and insert the link. Alignment, I send it to center. The size, I change it from small to large. Next, I go over to style. The background type, I change the color. So from here, you can choose whatever color you want. But I have a specific color I want to use, and I have the hex code, that is the color code. So I take this particular color code off, and I go ahead and enter in the color code I want to use, 5759DF. So this is the color I want to use. and I'll be using this color frequently on my website. So what I need to do is go ahead and add it to my global colors. Take note, a global color is a predefined color you have on your website. So to add this to my global colors, I click on this plus icon right here. I just call it blue. Then I click on create. So the next time I want to use this color, I wouldn't come here to enter in the color code. All what I need to do is go to custom, and I'll see the color right here. Awesome. I exit from here. Next, I click on hover. I'm going to change the hover color, and the background type, I go to color right here. Then I go ahead and enter in this color. Now if I hover, you see a different variation. Perfect. I can also add this color to my global colors. Maybe I'll call it hover color. Then I click on create. Now I've added all the elements that I need on my hero section, and you can see that our text is not visible enough. So what I can do is go ahead and add in a background overlay color that will make my text show very well. To do that, I click on edit section right here. Then under style, I go over to background overlay. Under background type, I choose classic, and I'm going to go ahead and choose black like this. Take note, the color code for black is 6 zeros like this. I exit from here. Down here under opacity, you can increase the opacity. That is how dark you want the overlay to be, or how light you want it to be. So it's your choice. In my case, I'll make it 0.5. I can just type in the figure right here. Perfect. Next thing I want to do is go ahead and create some spacing at top here and at bottom. To do that, I go over to advanced. Take note, we are still under edit section. Then I go ahead and unlink the values under padding. Top, I make it 50, and bottom, I make it 50. Now everything about my hero section is done, and I'm happy about it. So I go ahead and update my page. We can take a look to see how it will come up by clicking on preview changes. Perfect. This is cool. I exit from here. So that's it on how to create a hero section for our home page. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next class. If you are finding value so far, please give this video a thumbs up. It does help me out so that the video will be suggested to more people on YouTube and also benefit more people. Alright, let's continue. Hello guys, and welcome to our next lesson. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to create a popular blog post section for our home page. To do that, I first of all have to add in a section. So I click on add new section, and I'll use a single column section. I go over to advanced. I unlink the values and the padding, and I'm going to go ahead and add in a space of 50 pixels at top and 50 at bottom. Next, I go over to widgets. Then I drag in the heading widgets. I change the title to popular post, and I align it to the center. The styling is okay by me. However, if you want to change it, you go over to style, where you can change the color, typography, and minimum. I leave mine as it is. Next, I go over to widgets. Then I'm going to search for blog, and I'll be presented with this blog widget. And at the upper right hand corner, you see PA. This is the abbreviation for Premium Add-ons for Elementor. So we are getting this particular widget as a result of installing the Premium Add-ons for Elementor plugin. So what I do is I just click on it, and I drag it in here under the heading widget. And now we'll be presented with edit blog pane, and this is how our blog post will display it. Awesome. Now let's take a look at the features here one after the other. The first one we have is general. First, let's look at skin and the general. The skin is set to classic. At the moment, you can choose modern, and this is how modern will look like. You see that part of the text is lying on the image, and this is cool. You can also see cards, on side, and finally banner. Perfect. So choosing any of this will depend upon what you want. For now, I take it to classic. You can toggle off grid if you don't want to use grid. So if you are not using grid, this is how your blog post will display. I enable grid, and the layout, we have two features, that is even and masonry. At the moment it's even. With even, you have the opportunity to use equal height. That is, if maybe some of the titles are longer than others, you can use this equal height feature to make all your cars have the same height. We don't have that option under masonry. You see that it is gone. I prefer to use the even. At the moment, the number of columns is set to 2. So in here, you drop down the arrow and you can choose whichever number of columns you want. If I take it to 4, this is how 4 will look like. You can even go ahead and increase the number of posts per page. Maybe I want it to be 8. So this is how it will come up. I just want to show you how it works. For me, I'm going to use 3 columns, and the number of posts per page, I'll make it 6. And this is cool for me. Next, I'll go over to query. The source of my query is post, and you can choose whatever you want. And since we want to deal with post, I don't think choosing any of this will be ideal except post, so I leave it as post. Next is categories filter rule. From here, you can choose merge categories or exclude categories. So if it is set to merge categories, whatever categories you enter in here, for instance, personal finance, it will give you all blog posts on personal finance. However, if you exclude categories and you enter in personal finance here, it will take off all personal finance blog posts, as you can see right here. You see that the current query has no post. So for now, I take it back to merge categories, and I'm not going to use any filter here. So I remove this so that it will display all categories I have on my website. The same thing is applicable to tags. You can mark tags or exclude tags, and you can go ahead and filter them from here. You can even filter by author and by post. So customizing any of this will depend upon what you want to achieve at the end of the day. Next is ignore sticky post. With this feature, you'll be able to ignore sticky posts. That is, if you make some posts sticky, you can make your post sticky by going to your blog post. Maybe if I come here, I'll open that in a new tab. If I hover on any of my blog posts, then I click on quick edit. This is where you can make your blog post sticky so that you'll be on top of all your blog posts. It should be noted that most recent blog posts will be on top. So if you make the very first blog post sticky, it will always be on top. So that is what this particular feature will do. If you have sticky posts and you toggle this on, the premium add-ons for Elementor blog widget will take off the sticky post. That is if you enable this. So this is not all that necessary because we don't really have any sticky posts on our website. Next is offset. This particular feature will exclude any number of initial posts from being displayed. For instance, this is my recent blog post. If I don't want to see this, what I can do is I can increase this offset to 1. And you see that the first one is off. If I increase this to 2, this particular one will be off, and this will now show as my most recent blog post on my home page. So I increase this to 2, and the first one will go off, and you will now see this particular one. I don't want to do this, so I take it back to 0. Next, let's see order by. At the moment, my blog posts are ordered according to date. So this means that this particular blog post was the very last one I created. And in here, you wouldn't even see the first blog post I created, simply because I have 9 blog posts on my website, and at the moment, I'm displaying only 6 right here. So apart from ordering it by date, you can choose any of these ordering methods. And since this particular section is for popular posts, I'll assume my popular post to be a particular post with more comments. So I'll drop down the arrow here and I'll choose number of comments, even though I don't have any comments right now, but I just want to show you how it works. So at the moment, this is the most popular post on my website, and you can also order it in descending or ascending order. I'll leave it as descending. Next is featured image. Featured image is the image we see right here. In here, you can toggle off featured image if you don't need it. You see that they are off. I'll bring it back by toggling on. Image size is set to full. You can choose whatever size you want. I leave it as full. Hover effect at the moment is zoom, and I want to go ahead and use grayscale. So if I hover on my featured images, they will now turn into a grayscale, and I like it that way. I leave the rest of the settings as they are. Next is display options. First of all is the title tag. You can change it from H2 to whatever tag you want. H2 is good for SEO, that is search engine optimization, so I leave it as H2. Next is row spacing. Row spacing is the spacing right here. That is the spacing that separates the cars on top and the cars below. So at the moment it is set to 5 pixels. So if I make it 50, you see the spacing. So the same thing, you can increase the spacing for columns. 50, you see that. So whatever spacing you want will depend upon what you want to achieve at the end of the day. I leave mine as the default, that is 5 for column and 5 for rows. Next is alignment. At the moment it is aligned to left. You can choose center, that is the text, right, or even justify. For me, align left will do, so I take it to left. Next is post options. The first feature is show post content. This is the post content, that is the except. What we see right here, from here to here, is the post content, and you can get the content from post except or full content. Let me choose full content. So this is how it will look like. With this, it will give you all the content on your blog post. Choosing any of this will depend upon what you want. I take it back to post except. The except type is set to dots. You can choose link, and it will give you this read more button. You can even go ahead and change the read more text from here. I will keep it as dots, and I'm not really going to show post content right here, so I go ahead and toggle it off. Next, we have the author meta, that is the name of the author, date right here, categories, which is showing here, and then finally comments, which is here. The only thing I want to display here is categories meta, so I toggled all this off like this, and it will give me only categories. Next, I go to advanced settings. So here you can enable this feature in order to load more posts on scroll. So if I enable this, you see that it is trying to load. You see this feature working perfectly when you have a ton of blog posts on your website. I'm not going to use it anyway, so I toggle it off. You can also use filter tabs, and it will give you a filter on top. You'll be able to see all categories. You can also see only personal finance categories and any other categories you have on your website. I don't want to use filter tabs. Next is change post HTML tag to article. I don't really know what this feature does. If I toggle it on, you wouldn't see any changes. So I just go ahead and toggle it off. And finally, we have links in new tab. With this, if visitors click on any of these blog posts, it will open in a new tab. And I don't think that is cool. To see how this particular feature works, I'll update my page and I'll preview the changes. So if I go ahead and click on any of these blog posts, you see that it will open in a new tab, and I don't want that. So I exit out of here. Then I'll go ahead and toggle this off. Next is carousel. Now if I enable this, my blog post will change into a slider. So I can slide from here. Perfect. You can even make it play automatically by enabling autoplay, and the speed will depend upon the number of milliseconds you have set here. At the moment it is set to 5000 milliseconds, which is equal to 5 seconds. You can even set the number of slides to scroll from here. At the moment it is scrolling 3 slides, so if I choose 1, it will hide 1 post at a time. Perfect. So if you want to use this feature, you can go ahead and customize this just the way you want. I'm not going to use it, so I go ahead and toggle it off. And finally, we have pagination. I enable pagination, and you see the pagination numbers right here. But I don't think this feature will be cool on the home page, so I just go ahead and toggle it off. And that's all about the content tab. Next, we can go over to style. First under style is image. You want to add in a color for the image, you can just go in here and choose whatever color you want. For instance, if I choose red and I hover on my images, you see how it will come up. But I don't want to use this feature, so I just remove the color. Next is title. The typography is cool, so I don't do anything here. I like the font size and the font itself. Next is color. From here you can choose whatever color you want. I'll just go ahead and enter in the color code I want to use, 444343. I exit from here. Next I go over to hover and I'll enter in the hover color code, 8D8D8D. Awesome. I exit from here. Next is button spacing. This particular feature will provide some spacing in between the title and the categories. So if I go here and I increase it like this, you see that I don't want to tamper with the spacing, so I take off the figure I have here. Next, I go to meta. This is where you can change the typography and color of the categories. The typography is cool. I go to meta color. This time around, I'll choose my global colors and I'm going to use this blue. Next is links hover color. I go to custom and I'm going to use the text color. Perfect. This is cool. That's all about meta. Next, I go to content box. I'm not really going to do anything in here, but let me just show you how you can use some of the features. Maybe background color. It had to do with the background color of the text here. So if I come in here and I choose any color, you see that, but this is ugly. I'm not really going to use it, so I clear the color. So next we can go to box. This is where you can change the background color. That is this gray color we are seeing right here. At the moment it is this color, that is F5 F5 F5. For me this color is cool, but if you don't need this color, all what you need to do is click in here and choose whatever color you want. You can even go ahead and add in a border type. I make it solid, you see that, but I don't need a border. Just want to show you the possibilities. You can add in border radius if you want, maybe 10, and you see that you have some border radius. I don't need border radius, so I take it off. The only thing I want to work on here is spacing and padding. Spacing is the space that separates the cards. So for spacing, I make it 10 pixels across all sides. You see that. And the padding, I'm going to go ahead and enter in 5. But before I do that, if you look at the image right here, you see that it's in line with the gray color right here. But the moment I enter in some padding, first of all, let me enter 20. You can now see a space right here, and that is what the padding is about. For now, I'll take it to 5. That's all what I want to do, and I'm happy with my section, so I click on update. Let's preview the changes. Perfect. I like this. Awesome. I exit out of here. So that's it on how to create a popular post section for our homepage. Thank you for watching and see you in the next class. Hello guys and welcome to our next lesson. In this lesson, you will learn how to create an about section on the homepage of our website. Adding an about section on the homepage of your website will help improve search engine optimization. Since you will be entering content concerning your blog website, you might as well include some keywords which are related to your blog website. So to add an about section on the homepage of my website, I click on add new section and I'm going to go ahead and use a double column section. So I click on it. Before I pull in some widgets, I go over to advanced and I'm going to go ahead and provide a padding of 50 at top and at bottom. Before I do that, I unlink the values. So the top will be 50 and then bottom 50. Next, I go over to widgets and I'm going to go ahead and drag in the image widget like this, and I'll go ahead and choose my image. This is the image I want to use. I select it, and this time around I want to add in some alt text, which is good for search engine optimization. So the alt text will be I'll go ahead and highlight all, copy it, Ctrl+C on the keyboard, then I enter it in here, Ctrl+V to paste. So with this, if for any reason the image cannot be loaded, this text will be displayed. I click on Insert Media. Next, I go over to Widgets again, and I'll add in a heading widget like this, that is at the right side of the section. Then I enter About Us. Next, I go over to Widgets again, and this time around I'll pull in the text editor right under the About Us title. So in here, I go ahead and enter some content about my blog, and I can do it right here. So I take off this. In order not to bore you, I'm going to do this pretty quick. Alright, I've entered in some text. It should be noted that for a section like this, you don't need to overload it with more content. And the reason is that we will still be creating our main about page so that everything about our blog website will be entered in there. So what we can do is we can add in a button here which our users can click in order to redirect them to the about page of our blog website. So in order not to add in a fresh button from here, I can go ahead and copy this particular button right here, which we've already created. So I right click on it, then I click on copy. I come in here, right click, then I click on paste. So this time around, instead of align center, I take it to the left. And later on, I'll show you how to link this particular button to the about page of our website. However, the text, instead of learn more, I'll make it more info. So this is how effective and efficient working with Elementor is. Most of the times, you don't need to recreate some of the elements you have already added on your website. You can easily duplicate them and use them on any other page or section of your website. I'll show you later on in this course how you can even copy a whole section, not necessarily an element or a widget. Now, if you look at the popular post section right here, the background color is the same as the background color of the about section. And I want to provide some distinction in between the section here and this next section so that there will be some kind of separation. To do that, I go to edit section right here, then I go over to style, and the background, I go to background type, then I choose classic. And the color, I'm going to go ahead and enter in this color code F5 F5 F5, and this is the same color as we see on the cards right here. One other thing I want to show you on this about section is that in Elementor, you'll be able to change the positions of your columns. For instance, if I want the text column to be at the left side and the image to be at the right side, I can easily do that. All what I need to do is point on edit column right here, click on it, and I drag it to this side like this, then I release. And this is how I want it. From the beginning, I could start entering my text here and the image here. But I just want to show you the possibilities of moving columns from one location to another. One other thing you may want to do is align the contents of your columns. As you can see in here, the text is hanging on top and the image is covering the whole column. So what we can do is we can align the text in here to be in the middle of the image. To do that, I click on edit section right here. Then I go over to layout. Under vertical align, I drop down the arrow and I choose middle. Now the text is in the middle of the image, and this is cool. If I'm happy about everything, I go ahead and update. So that's it on how to create an about section on the home page of our website. Thank you for watching and see you in the next class. Hello guys, and welcome to our next lesson. In this lesson, you will learn how to create a recent blog post section on the home page of our website. Adding some most recent blog posts on the home page of our website will help our users to easily find the blog posts on our website. We've already seen how to add some popular blog posts right here, And this time around, we are going to add the most recent blog post on the home page of our website. Now remember, in our previous lesson, I mentioned that we can duplicate a whole section and use it on other parts of our website, either on a separate page or on the same page. So I'm going to show you how we can duplicate a particular section, or we can copy a particular section and take it to a different location on the same page. So we've already created a section that will display some blog posts. All what we need to do is go ahead and duplicate the whole of this section. Then we go ahead and customize it the way we want. To do that, I right click on edit section right here. Then I click on copy. I scroll down to the ends. Right here on this part of the Elementor editor, I right click. Then I go ahead and click on paste. And I'll have the whole section duplicated. So what I need to do is start customizing it to fit my needs. So first of all, I change the title. So I activate it and I change it from here. You can give it whatever title you want. You can call it recent blog post. You can also call it most recent post. You can even call it latest post. I'll call mine latest articles and guides. Next, let's customize the blog widget itself. To do that, I click on the pencil icon right here to activate the blog pane. This time around, I'm going to give it a different look. The first thing I do under general is go ahead and increase the number of posts per page. So from 6, I change it to 9. Next, I go over to query and I scroll down to order by. This time around, instead of number of comments, I drop down the arrow and I choose date so that it will display my most recent blog post. Next, I go to post options and I'm going to show content, and the excerpt type, I drop down the arrow and I change it to link so that I see the read more button. I'll show you how to make it a complete button in a moment. I also want to show the date meta, so I enable this so that date will appear right here. And that's all I want to do in here. Next, I go over to style. Under style, I go to button. Take note, this time around we are seeing button in here because we have enabled the read more button. Now, if we go back to the popular post section and try to edit this, under style, in here you don't see button, and the reason is that the read more button wasn't enabled for this particular section. So going down, I click in here to go back to the editing mode. So I go over to button and I'm going to go ahead and change the text color. So I click in here and I choose white. Next, I go to background color and I'm going to go ahead and use my blue color right here. Next, I go over to hover and the text color for hover will still be white. And the background color, I go to my default colors and I choose hover color right here. Perfect. Going down, in here, I'm going to go ahead and increase the padding of my button. And I'll make it 10 across all sides. So I just enter 10 in here and it will run through all the sides. Now I have a visible button. And that's all about this section. If I'm happy about it, I go ahead and update my page. So that's it on how to add the most recent blog post section on the home page of our website. Thank you for watching and see you in the next class. Hello guys, and welcome to our next lesson. In this lesson, you will learn how to make the homepage of our website mobile responsive. As you can see, we've added 4 sections on the homepage of our website. Whatever number of sections you want to have on your page will all depend upon your requirements. However, I will advise that you keep it as minimal as possible in order to increase the loading speed of your website. So I'm assuming designing the homepage of our website is done, and now it's time to make it mobile responsive. Having a website which is mobile responsive will not only improve user experience, but it will also help increase your search engine optimization. So to make our website mobile responsive, I go over to responsive mode right here, click on it, and on top here you see that we have desktop, tablet, and mobile. First of all, let's deal with tablet. and starting from top. So from top, if you see that the text is kind of big, you can go ahead and reduce the size in order to make it fit well and also look nice on tablet. By looking at what I have so far, it looks cool. However, if you still want to go ahead and work with the size, I'll show you how to do that. So first of all, I want to work on the heading widget. To do that, I click on the pencil icon right here to activate it. Next, I click on style. Then I go over to the pencil icon and the typography. Now, if you go to size, you see that we have tablet right here. This means that whatever size we are going to enter in here will affect only the tablet mode. So instead of having my text in 3 lines, maybe I can make it in 2 lines. The size on desktop is 70, and this time around, I can make it maybe 65. It's still 3 lines. Maybe 60 will do. It's still 3 lines. Maybe I make it 50. I can increase it more. I can do the same thing in here, even though this is cool, but I just want to show you the possibilities. So I activate it, then I go over to style, and the typography, I decrease the size to 20, like this. Next is the button, which is cool, so I don't do anything in here. Going down to popular post section is also cool, so I leave it as it is. Now, if you look at the about section, you see that at the left hand side, there's no space in here. What we need to do here is go ahead and add in some space so that we give this section a briefing room. To do that, I click on edit section right here. Then I go over to advanced. I unlink the values and the padding. The padding on desktop was 50. I maintain it. That is for top and bottom. This time around, we work on the padding at right and at left. So right, I'll make it 20. And then left, I make it 20 so that I'll have enough briefing room. Perfect. Going down, latest article section 2 is cool. So we don't do anything in here. Next, let's go over to mobile. And starting from the top, I click on the pencil icon right here to edit it. Then I go over to style, which is already active. And I click on the pencil icon and the typography. In here, I reduce the size. Maybe 35 will do, like this. And I will leave this text as it is. The button is cool. Everything is cool in here. The only thing I want to do is go ahead and alternate these columns. I want this image to be on top so that the text will be at bottom. To do that, I click on edit section right here. Then I go over to advanced. Next, I click on responsive. Then I go ahead and reverse the columns for mobile. So I enable this, and you see that the image is on top and the text is at bottom. Perfect. We can take a look. Awesome. Tablets. This is cool. I like it. I bring back the editing pane. I can close the responsive mode bar from here. And I'm happy about my page. So I go ahead and update it. Let's go ahead and take a look by previewing the changes. Perfect. This is looking cool. So that's it on how to make an Elementor landing page for a blog website. Alright guys, I hope you found value in today's video. If you did, kindly hit the like button, subscribe if you have not yet subscribed, and also hit the notification bell so that each time I post a new video on this channel, you will be the first to know. Keep watching, and I will see you in the next one.